What up guys, JZNES here with some tips for your backlog. Together, we can conquer your backlog. I know how stressful it is, trust me. I'm doing a whole video about my backlog and I'm going to put that out. You'll see every single game except for my NES collection, which is even more of a backlog. And there's probably more games in my NES collection than in my actual backlog. But anyway, I've got some tips here for helping you conquer your backlog. Now, these might be kind of common knowledge and obvious, but I'm trying to help you with whatever I have that I can give you that I found helpful to take on your backlog of games. Because as collectors, we have backlogs of games. We are embarrassed to have these backlogs because some of these games are really, big games that everyone has played or whatever, For a random example, Super Mario RPG, like everyone's played that, but that's on my backlog. I haven't played it, It's a great game, I know, but still haven't played it, There's a lot of modern games I haven't played, the Mass Effect series, those kind of games. But anyways, here's some tips to help you to get through your backlog. And my first tip is basically to focus on what's important. Now, to you, that could mean a lot of things, whatever game could be important to you, but if you want to play a game, I mean, obviously you want to play all of these games eventually, that's why they're on your backlog, but focus on one game at a time. Focus on what's important. Basically, if you have a game like, let's say, if you have a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, focus on that game, because there's going to be a lot to do in this game. But you gotta know, well, we'll get to that, but you gotta know when you're going to be able to play that game, because, it's going to take up a lot of time. But basically, focus on what's important. Focus on that game. But, you're not always going to want to just play Zelda Breath of the Wild. You're going to get burnt out on that or whatever. So, to not get burnt out on that, play games in genres. Have a few games that you have, but in genres. So you have your Zelda for when you're feeling, open world. You have your, let's see, Myst for when you're feeling like an adventure game. You have your Einhander for when you're feeling like a shooter, And don't have too many, but, you can have one, like, let's say I want a first-person shooter. You have your Doom, because I gotta play that. I gotta play Doom 3 first, but you get what I'm saying. Play games in genres. Have an RPG on hand in case you want to play that. Have, like, a hack and slash on hand in case you want to just mindlessly hack and slash kind of thing. Have, a first-person shooter on hand in case you want to do that. You're gonna want to play different games, but just have a few that are your dedicated games, so then you can be playing multiple games still, but you can focus on different games. But don't make that too many games. Just focus on which games are the most important at that time. Focus on those, get those done. Just do them, That's what you gotta do. So, and then, if you're playing a series of games, don't play the entire series at once. You're gonna get fucking burnt out on that shit. I have Final Fantasy 5 through 9 over there to play. Like, if I played those all at once, that would be just a pain in the ass. If I played all the Dragon Warrior games that I accidentally play, or Dragon Quest that is, I would get burnt out on those. If I played, even Grandia 1 and 2, if I play those at the same time, I'm going to get burnt out on those. But, sometimes you want to play them within close proximity of each other, but, put a game in between there. If you're going to play Grandia 1, play that, then play, I don't know, Rayman 2, if you have that. If you got a platformer or something, or if you have a shooter that you need to finish, But stay within that game, so you can replace the RPG in your few, like 5 or so handful of games once you finish it. But try to finish those other games within that handful of games before you replace the RPG. So, like, let's say you beat the RPG, then you want to, you got to play the shooter or the platformer or whatever. You got to get through one of those, and then you can replace the RPG. Then play another RPG. But you don't want to play RPGs just straight in a row, unless that's your, like, only game genre. But for me, that would get really boring and really repetitive. You're going to get burnt out on RPGs if you just play them all straight in a row. So don't do that. Don't play all the series at once. Try to have some variety is basically the point there. Basically, okay, so this is an interesting one. I don't know if this actually is true, but I've had this before. Have a game that you can struggle at, and then one that you find easy. Let's say you're good at RPGs. Have an RPG that you struggle at, or I mean that you're good at, And then, like, let's say you're not as good at platformers or something, have one of those games too, so you can switch back and forth. So you can, if you need to go and play the hard game, you can do that. And then if you don't want to play the hard game, you can do that. That also leads me into my next point, which is comfort food games, sequels to games that you really love, or remakes especially, or just RPGs that are easy. Like right now, I'm grinding for shinies in my Pokemon game. That's a really comfort food game. I can do that anytime. It won't take a lot of effort. I just go around this circle and then I go and get more eggs, and it's easy. It's easy games. You have those for when you get home at night, when you're done working or whatever, and you feel just burnt out. School, whatever you do, you feel burnt out. You don't want to play Skyrim, or I don't have that on my list, but like Zelda. If I don't want to play Zelda, like if I don't really want to get immersed in that world, maybe I just don't have time to play Zelda. Like comfort food games, you can get in, get out quickly, and those are always good to have. Always have some of those. I always do. Pokemon's mine right now. Good stuff, So along that line of comfort food games, actually. Have a portable game and a console game. If you do portable gaming, if you do console gaming, have one of each. Have a portable game that you can play and a console game you can play for that same reason. Basically because you want to have some variety in there, and you also want to essentially have a comfort food game. So like usually portable games are usually meant to be like, a little bit easier to get through, and they're more frequent with the saving and all of that. A lot of console games might not have that, or maybe they do, but you want to play a portable game so you can sit there on your couch sometimes and maybe like watch a YouTube video while you're playing your game or whatever. So that's good. Have a portable game and a console game. Basically, don't feel like, if you're stuck on a game, oh, I can't play that game, or just give up on it or whatever. Don't do that. Go online, look up an FAQ, look up a YouTube video, look up whatever you need to do to not be stuck on that game. Usually it's really not that hard, and you're going to slap your head and be like, oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Usually it's not that bad. If you have to follow a guide, don't feel bad about that. Don't feel bad about having to follow a guide, alright? Just don't, because it's going to help you get through your games if you have to, They don't really make strategy guides anymore, but, if you have that with a game, usually that's pretty handy. I usually like to have strategy guides with my games. It's no shame, man. Just if it's a hard game, look up and see what's hard. What's egging you about it, and just don't give into that pressure. Oh, I got to be hardcore, not look it up. Just look it up, because you're gonna need to not be stuck on that game. You want to get through your games. That's how you're gonna get through them, is to not be stuck. Now, if you don't like a game, if you're just having a rough time with it, or you've given it a lot of time and you just decide, hey, this game's not for me, give up on it. Go sell it, go sell it for some trading credit. Don't the idea here is to get through your backlogs. If you want to buy new games, that's fine, but don't add, this could be another tip, but basically here's the thing. If you don't like a game, just don't do that game. Just move on from it, and get rid of it, and get rid of the clutter in your collection. That's gonna help. That's gonna help you have more money to buy more games, money to do anything. That's gonna help you a lot, is to not have that clutter. But here's the thing. The other thing with that is don't buy just all the new games. If you know that a game isn't gonna be super rare and hard to find in the future, don't buy just the next game that you need for your set until you finish the game, Finish a game, then you can buy a game. That's a good rule to have, because then you'll be getting through your games. Maybe not as quickly as you'd like, but it's not really feasible to get through them as quickly as everyone would like. But anyways, don't buy new games until you finish the ones you have, basically, Finish Doom before you buy Final Fantasy 15 or whatever. But if it's a game like Dragon Quest XI, for me, I've been waiting for that game for a long time. Of course I'm going to buy it, but just realize, here's what you need to realize. Just step back and take a look and realize when you add that new game to your collection, that's going to be one more game you have to finish someday. So just try not to. Just try to have some self-control and not buy every game on release date. That's going to save you some money. That's going to save you some time, obviously. You're playing your games here. So do that and don't buy new games, you know, as much as you can. Play some of your old games. Or if you don't want to play your old games, get rid of the ones you're not going to play and buy the new game, you know? And then just save your big games, like I was talking about earlier with Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I've been waiting on this game, okay? This and Dark Souls and games like that, I've been waiting on these games because I know as soon as I play them, I'm going to get immersed. I'm going to love them. I'm assuming I'm really going to like Zelda. I don't know. I mean, I've heard it's great. I've heard it's perfect, whatever. Save these, okay? You have to have one of these when you have time to play these. I don't know, maybe if you're in school, summer vacation is good. If you're working, obviously, there's not a lot of really time to do that, but sometimes you have gaps in your work, or you're just doing really well at work, so save these for those times when you could have some time to sit down and play. Maybe you get vacation, you know, like maybe Christmas or something, so save this for those times. That's what you want to do, because if you just play this, you know, while you're trying to play a bunch of other games, that's another thing. If you're playing this, maybe it's a good idea for you. You gotta kind of feel out your situation, but maybe it's a good idea for you to just play this game, you know, just this one. You get burnt out on it, but this is how you finish games. You have to play them, you know. Funny thing, right? You gotta play games to finish games, you know. Sounds random, right? But that's how you do it. You gotta finish the game. You gotta put aside some time for a big game like this. Or if you don't have time to play big games, get rid of that game. You know, you don't need that game. You've got many other games you can play. And then my final tip for this, there's probably some other tips. I'll put them in the series as it goes along. Just do it. Just do it. Play your games. Make your dreams come true. And that's basically the entire thing of this. Why do you have a backlog? Because you haven't played your games. You probably don't have time or something, but just choose one and play it. Just do it. You just got to do it. You just got to play your games, okay? That's how you take down a backlog. That's the #1 tip here. There's little semantics that you can talk about, but reasonably at the end of the day, how are you going to finish those games? You're going to play them. That's how you're going to finish them. Or you're going to play part of them. If you're not completionist, if you don't like to finish games, that's fine. Just play the amount of the game that you want to play, and then you can get rid of it, or you can keep it, or however you want to do that, you know? For me, I like to finish games. So, if you don't want to finish games, don't finish games. That's fine. You get whatever satisfaction out of the game you want to get out of it, okay? That's fine. This is just to help people whose backlogs are here and are as massive as mine to really get through it, you know? You just gotta do it. You just gotta sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna finish, you know, I don't know, fucking something. You gotta sit down and be like, I'm gonna finish Muramasa Even Blade, you know? Or I'm gonna attempt to finish Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm gonna put more of an effort into it, you know, or something. You just gotta sit there and you just gotta do it, okay? That's my tips for doing this. I'll give some more as we go along. This is gonna be a big series, hopefully, of me finishing my backlog. You and I, we're gonna finish our backlogs together. That's gonna be the next episode. I'm gonna show off my backlog, and we're gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish one game. You're gonna finish a game of yours at the same time. You're gonna comment below and tell me what it is in the next video. I'll see you guys then. But until then, you know, keep it classic and stick around for more reviews and underrated games and backlog. Jay-Z out.